Of death and rebirth. Woo! This is a hot topic. So this is happening on a very, very large scale right now, and thanks to Aggie, thank you very much. We are covering it today. So we move through death and rebirthing all the time, but generally it's so subtle that we don't even pay attention to it. But right now in the conscious field, it seems a bit strung out or feels like it is taking a really long time to move through it. And it is. So, along with the penumbral energy for this year, which is death of the shadow energy and the birthing of alignment, right? Soul alignment or consciousness alignment, you may feel that kind of a synchronicity, which is pretty much what we've been talking about the entire year so far. So, what happens in a death and rebirth? Well, rebirth cannot happen without a death. It just can't. It just doesn't happen that way here in this third dimensional kind of an experience, because that is a belief, and that's how we believe it to be. So, because we believe it to be that way, that's the process. It's totally a lie, but we will just flow with that for right now for the sake of this teaching, okay? So a rebirth can be very devastating. It can be as devastating as a near-death experience or a sickness. It feels like the entire world is collapsing and you're the center of the collapse. Literally anything that feels like a death. It can be an emotional death. It can be a mental death. It can be a physical death where the body becomes super sick. So that's what you're dying from. We aren't actually dying. We're just releasing. We're releasing from the old self. So now you can process this experience very quickly. Like when we go to Peru, we do a rebirthing in the hot springs at Machu Picchu, and it's like a half hour, generally a half hour, but it can last up to 2 hour process. You know, it doesn't have to be a long kind of a thing, and it's intentional. So when things are intentional and we have awareness or consciousness about them, we can move through the things pretty quickly. But this death and rebirth that we're experiencing now is a little bit different because it came, well, some of us are conscious about it, but the majority of humanity is not very conscious about it, which is kind of what's taking the process a little bit longer. So I have been experiencing a rebirthing for about 2 months now, and I have in the past experienced them over years, like the dark night of the soul kind of rebirthing, and I've experienced them very rapidly where they last literally minutes. So generally a death and rebirth happens when you move to a more expanded level of conscious awareness. This happens because you cannot so the death portion of it happens because you cannot take your old beliefs, your old patterns, your old thoughts, your old emotions and actions into the new level of consciousness. You would not be expanding into a new level if you took all of your old stuff with you, your baggage. So your entire mind and body move into an entirely new frequency or vibration when this happens. You will notice that you have changed. Like literally, you have changed. And you may notice it day by day and minute by minute, or you may notice it as an overall big picture. You will speak different words and you will do different things and you will just feel completely different. So it's literally a falling away of the old you, in order to bring in the new you, the upgraded version now. Because it's a death and rebirthing, there is a grieving process that goes with this, and most of us don't even acknowledge it. And we certainly don't move through that process, which can hold us back. That's part of how quickly you can move through a death and rebirth. is you have to grieve your old self, because we have, again, we have those belief systems. And the emotional body is entangled with those belief systems. Okay, so as a mass consciousness, though, the death and rebirth that we are moving away from right now is we're moving away from the ego-dominated way of life to a more open, free-flowing kind of life. Now, I'm not talking about free-flowing like the 60s free-flowing. I'm talking about more aligned free-flowing. Like, we don't have to work so hard at the mindset. We don't have to work so hard at understanding our emotions. We're dropping the beliefs, literally dropping the beliefs, because they don't serve who we're becoming. So it's not just humans that are making this massive transition, right? The earth is also making the transition, and the animal kingdoms are doing it as well. So we're not alone here. It's an entire world that's moving consciously. So being present in the body is really, really important right now. And as we continue to make this transition, again, staying in the body and really understanding what's happening with the body is probably the one thing that can help you process quicker. It's actually the body that's making the transformation. For humans, for humanity, it's the body that's literally moving from a carbon-based body into a light crystalline body. And that's probably why, if you're going through it right now, you're having physical problems. That's why. Because the body is the one, right? Is the one that holds the memory. So when we move from matter, from a state of cells and particles and atoms, to a light body, a state of light and crystalline, there has to be the shedding kind of action that happens. Now, what's been happening, though, is we aren't shedding. Instead, we're staying in our same old patterns, and we're not doing anything new to shed the energy of the body. So you can support the physical body right now with breath work, grounding practices, shamanic journeying, meditation, somatic movement. Any way that you can move the body so that the energy doesn't stay stuck there. Now, I'm not talking about your same old exercise routine. That's an old pattern. You have to create a new exercise routine, or something that's going to activate that nervous system. We're looking for nervous system activation, because it's the nervous system that holds all those old patterns that we're trying to move away from, right? And we have to activate that nervous system so that it can actually activate the new DNA, or the junk DNA and the junk RNA, okay? So we're looking for activating that nervous system. Paying attention and living in the present moment is vital, because the body needs you to be at home during this process. So if your default is to meditate and to go out into the ethers, I'm going to say try not to do that too much, because if you're going to meditate, you're going to meditate on the body. What does the body need today? What is the body, how does it need to move? What kind of food do you need to put into it? What kind of breathing do you have to do? You really want to be meditating and focusing on the physical form, on the body. Otherwise, you will feel as if you have left the body. Now, this is crucial, because we don't really want to have a death experience, but sometimes when we even etherically leave the body, it feels like we have had a death experience. And we come back literally without any passion, without any drive, without any motivation, right? Like we literally have a death. And I found that, you know, when I do that, when I'm leaving the body right now, like my life force diminishes. And I literally have no passion, no purpose, no motivation to do anything. So don't leave the body. You need to be at home right now in your physical body, supporting it that way versus going outside of it. So the mind also can be a rat race right now. Since we are transforming the ego, the ego is desperately hanging on, and it will pull you back in time into some of the worst times of your life and create stories around them and bring up old thought patterns. Like, it's vital to be steadfast with your mind, like having super control of your thoughts. So put up sticky notes that remind you of your magnificence, of your brilliance, of who you're trying to become versus allowing yourself to go down some path that isn't who you are anymore. So do whatever it takes, literally, to not go down into despair. Reach out to people who understand what is happening to you and with you, right? Like reach out to those people so that you can pull yourself back into a mindset that will help you evolutionize versus hold you back. So on a spiritual soul level, it is glorious. Honestly, if you can connect with your soul self in the body, you're pulling your soul self into the body. You're not going out there anyplace else. You're pulling it into the body, because aligning and being in alignment becomes super easy and you feel very, very happy. So if you're a feeling kind of person, that's what you're looking for, is that feeling of elation and happy and joyful and blissful, right? Do whatever makes you happy if you're that kind of a feeling kind of person. So I hope this helps. Please ask questions if you need anything clarified. If you need to book a session to help you through, I am open, and I'm running a soul sale right now, actually, which I don't do very often. So reach out and we will get you scheduled in. Get you scheduled in for reals. All right, we got a couple questions here. Yeah, Sarah says she's feeling the shift out of her Saturn return. Sometimes that can be the same as the dark side of the soul. I can see the light embracing this transformation. Awesome. That's what we want, is for you to see the light, not the darkness. Okay. Any other questions I can answer right now? Otherwise, I can't quite see all those things. So let me hold with me for a second here. I can't quite see all those comments. Oops, sorry. Okay, nothing else. Perfect. If you have questions, though, let me know and we will take care of them. Otherwise, enjoy your transformation. It's once in a lifetime kind of a deal. We're working through it together as a consciousness. Not one of you is alone. So enjoy your day.